Hi everyone, hope you're all doing well and welcome to a crazy week in the stock market ahead. It's going to be a big one. It is entering the peak time of earnings season. This week's a big week, next week's quite a big one as well, and a few weeks after that, but these kind of like this week and next week are kind of the big ones. So what I thought I'd do is together go through some of the earnings that I'm going to be looking for next week and exact stocks I'm looking at, what I'm kind of thinking about every stock and everything like that, and a video on a Sunday as well, a video on Saturday and now one on Sunday. It's getting a bit busy, as you can tell. I don't normally do 2 videos on a weekend, but hey, you know, when it's this sort of time, start getting a little bit excited, hear about some of the stocks that you own and a little bit of an update in them. So yeah, will be a bit of a shorter one, but I hope the video is useful anyway. So starting with Monday. Monday is a little bit quieter than the next couple of days, but probably there's 2 standout ones on here for me. First one, Facebook. Obviously, Facebook's been rough the last kind of couple of weeks. It's had a few problems going on with like the whistleblower. It's had a few things with a couple of court cases and stuff like that coming up with it. Just a little bit of rough time. And then just to top it off last week, Snapchat came out. Snapchat said they were struggling a little bit. That affected Facebook, and this is going to be one of those quarters that everyone's going to be looking at and going, how much is that Apple update affecting Facebook? So yeah, Facebook, there's a lot priced in already negative because of that Snapchat earnings. This would be one of those that I think there's a lot of negativity priced in there already, that it probably won't move down unless there's some really bad numbers in there. If there's some really bad numbers in there, then that could send Facebook lower, which is actually what I probably want, because I won't mind buying a bit of Facebook. A bit of Facebook in the like $280 range won't be too bad. So yeah, it won't actually be too bad if Facebook actually come out with a stinker of an earnings. It has been on a good run. Wouldn't mind buying more. It's my favourite big tech stock out there as well. So yeah, would not mind that to happen. But yeah, I mean, you know, it could shock us. This is the thing with earnings. It's a very 50-50 thing. And you never know. Facebook might go, oh yeah, we're not like Snapchat. We've done absolutely fine. So yeah, there's a lot of things that could happen with Facebook. But that's kind of where it's at right now. And personally for me, I'm not sure where it's at. I think personally that one probably be flat after earnings, but you never know. Next up, the next one I'm probably looking at is Logitech. I'm looking at Logitech because obviously it's related to Corsair. That probably gives a good idea what's going on with Corsair. Obviously Corsair, we do have some preliminary results and they were weak, so I would be expecting something a bit similar from Logitech. But yeah, there might be a couple of things just to check out as one of its main rivals of how it's all going. So we'll be checking out Logitech because of Corsair reasons, and those are probably the 2 that stand out to me on the Monday. Going on to the Tuesday, it's a busy one. UPS, very similar to FedEx. I don't mind that one. I've nearly owned it a couple of times, never have done. GE, 3M. 3M's a pretty good one. Recently I knew it was on a bit of a dip. I don't know if it's still on a bit of a dip. I know a while ago it was falling off a cliff a little bit. One of those stocks, if I was a bit of a dividend investor, I would probably have added that one into my portfolio at some point. Lockheed Martin, JetBlue, Raytheon, Waste Management, same again, another dividend stock that if I was a pure dividend holder, those would definitely probably be too high up on my list to own. Hasbro, I think a few people were saying there's a bit of panic buying for like toys for Christmas. I don't know if that will be evident in Q3 or not, but hey, we'll keep an eye out. And then after the close, probably one of the biggest days of earnings, AMD. I know a lot of you guys own AMD. One of those that I wouldn't mind owning if it had a crazy drop, but it's been doing quite well recently. Microsoft, obviously that's one I do own. See what happens there with Microsoft. Alphabet or Google, them guys normally end up smashing it whatever happens. Obviously when you've got that Google search engine, and then YouTube, I mean YouTube is, you know, nearly Netflix as well in the same company. So really good stock. I won't mind that one to dip actually, but the numbers they've been pulling out recently have been really good. And then Visa, MasterCard. I think MasterCard's later on in the week. Visa will probably sum up what's happening with Visa and MasterCard together. So yeah, hopefully they kind of show a bit more transactions happening a bit more now the economy's opening up a bit more. Twitter, very much like Facebook, it's been down because of Snapchat earnings, but you know, it might show that they've actually not had that many problems compared to Snapchat. It's one of them. Twitter is normally quite a volatile stock in earnings season. Twitter, Snapchat, Pinterest, 3 very volatile stocks there. If you own them, you know that. Next up is Enphase, a solar play that I've considered owning a few times. Never really pulled the trigger on it, but yeah, it's been up. It's quite volatile. Not sure exactly why I've never actually followed through and bought it, but yeah, one of those that is a little bit higher on my list to just keep an eye on. Robinhood, I think that might be their first time as a public company actually reporting earnings. So yeah, Texas Instruments, Quantum Scope, Boyd Gaming, if any of you guys own them ones. Going on to Wednesday, another big day. So in the morning, Boeing. I used to own Boeing, don't anymore. Sold out. I just kind of got fed up with management, and it just seemed like problem after problem. Max 8 problems. I just thought I'm just going to move my money away and go buy something else. Seems like they're doing a little bit better at the moment, getting things moving again. But yeah, as a company, it's very badly run, but they are in that lucky position where there's only them and Airbus that pretty much make planes. So the chances of something going terribly wrong for that company, even if they carry on making mistakes, are very slim. So yeah, I mean, I'd consider getting back in Boeing if it did have a bit of a dip, I guess. But not, it's not on the top of my list right now. GM, Coca-Cola, McDonald's, two solid dividend plays right there. Bristol Myers Squibb. I know a few guys are playing that Bristol Myers Squibb stock. I think a few people playing that as a bit of a dividend. I've never looked into it myself personally, so maybe it's one that I look at, and maybe especially because I think it's been on a bit of a bad run recently. I'm not sure, but I think it has. That if it has another dip, then that could be a bit of a sign to go buy it, because obviously again it's sold off, and as well as that, you start thinking about that dividend yield, not too bad. Spotify, I know if you guys have been taking a bit of a punt on Spotify. Once again, it's had been a bit of a sold off one. I've thought about Spotify a few times. Maybe if it was to have one more earnings where it was just horrible, that could push me over the line, because I think Spotify, I think pretty much everyone has Spotify now. I think you either have like a Spotify or a Netflix or a Disney Plus. I think everybody has one of them, and potentially all of them. I think it is kind of, for me, I prefer Spotify over Apple Music as well. So yeah, I think that's a platform that will always be around, I guess. And then we've got Ford after the close. They've really turned it around recently. So yeah, Teledoc, obviously that's one I own. Hopefully it's better than the last quarter. The last quarter they had, I was very disappointed with it. So yeah, I'll see what happens with Teledoc. Twilio, ServiceNow, I know they're quite popular. Not really ever fully looked into them that much, but I know they've got a few people are interested in them. Align Technology, them guys have smashed it so far this year. Upwork and Fiverr, both stocks that have had a bit of a pullback because of just that they had such a good year last year, and now they're pulling back a bit. Upwork and Fiverr, I think the freelance economy will just carry on growing, so I wouldn't mind owning both of them. I've even considered Fiverr a couple of times, but I just kind of not got over the valuation just yet. And then eBay and Lending Club, someone actually pointed that one out to me a couple of weeks ago. Looks really interesting, being on a good run, but they're doing some good stuff up there. And that leaves us on to Thursday. So Shopify are guaranteed to smash earnings. It's just how much they smash them. If they really smash them, that's normally when the stock goes up, because it is trading at a bit of a premium, I guess. So yeah, I'll be looking forward to Shopify. It's always one of my favorite conference calls to listen to as well. Funny enough. MasterCard, they probably would have moved a lot more because of what Visa would have done on Tuesday. Caterpillar, Altria, Overstock, I know that one has been said to me a few times, but I can't remember where. And yeah, that leaves us on after the close on Thursday. Apple and Amazon, both of them stocks actually haven't done much recently, I don't think, but great companies. So yeah, if they kind of carry on doing a bit of flatlining for a little bit, I think obviously they've both been on quite good runs, so a bit of flatlining, let that valuation catch up, and also if they have a dip, then that could be very interesting. Both good companies having a portfolio. I think everyone's going to be staring at Amazon going, are you finally going to announce that stock split? So I mean, you never know, anything can happen, I guess. And then Starbucks, Starbucks is a company, I can't remember how long ago it was, I think it might have been like 3 years ago. There was a period of time where Starbucks, it dipped and it did nothing for like a year, and I was staring at Starbucks, for a long time, and I was like, I need to buy this, I should buy this, why am I not buying it? This could be like my biggest stock here. It's a great company, and you get a really good dividend on it, and something in my gut just told me never to buy it, and was a terrible decision. I should have bought it when I was thinking about it for a while. I don't know what it was, but yeah, that's a good company to own. Skechers, Western Digital, and a couple of ones there. And Friday is ExxonMobil, AbbVie, and a couple of dividend stocks there. And AbbVie was a stock that I remember in 2019 that had a bit of a fall off in stock price, and has done very well since then. And then Royal Caribbean, I think they've been pulling out some really good news. They're saying there's a lot of demand for cruises right now. So yeah, see what happens there. Obviously that probably be tied to my Carnival shares as well. So yeah, those are some of the stocks to keep an eye on next week. A bit of a big one, and a few more big weeks coming up, so maybe we can do this for a couple of weeks on Sunday as we normally do. But yeah, hope the video was useful. Let me know what you're kind of looking forward to. I'm sure you own one of them in this list. I'm sure we'll probably be making a video about one of them next week anyway. And have a good rest of the weekend, and I'll catch you all on Monday.